Elora has been living what feels like a dream lately, spending delightful times with her son's friend. It's almost as if she's experiencing a second youth. Despite being in her early 40s with a son of her own, she was unaware during their courtship. But it turned out her husband was a truly despicable man. He took pride in coming from a wealthy lineage and believed that money could solve any of his mistakes. Elora met her husband when she was just 20, and she quickly married him after becoming pregnant at a young age. The introduction came about because her close friend, who worked at her husband's company, always carried Elora's photo in her wallet. Her husband saw Elora's picture by chance and insisted on being introduced, claiming he had never seen such a beautiful girl before. Despite his wealth and successful business, her husband was unfaithful, often coming home late and carelessly, leaving receipts for expensive gifts on the dresser. Unable to tolerate his behavior, Elora divorced him after their son went off to college last year. Elora is quite beautiful in stark contrast to her husband, who looked nothing short of a petty thief. Their son, who closely resembles his father, is tall and well-built. Despite her husband's misdeeds, Elora dedicated her life to her son, who was deeply cherished by his father as well. The divorce left Elora with a sizable alimony, as her husband's infidelity was blatant, and he met all her demands, even though their son is now an adult. He has already inherited a house for his future marriage. Elora felt relieved without her troublesome husband. She and her son could live comfortably. Whenever her son misses his father, they can meet separately. Each meeting ends with her son bringing home a significant amount of money from his father. Friends have suggested that Elora, still young and beautiful, is now free to live her life, even offering to introduce her to new men. However, Elora is not yet ready for that step. Elora returns home in the morning after her yoga session, a routine she's been following for 5 years. Although her friends suggested going out for lunch, Elora had planned to organize her pantry and chose to head home early. After finishing her chores, she lay down on her bed. Without having lunch, feeling somewhat lethargic, hours might have passed when suddenly, ding dong, her son Thane, a sophomore in college, entered the house with a friend. Elora was taken aback the moment she saw Thane's friend. He was tall, with sharp features and a distinct handsomeness. "Mom, this is my classmate Corin," Thane introduced. Corin greeted her politely. "Hello?" Elora, with a bright voice, welcomed him. "You're very handsome. I'm glad to meet you. Stay and play as much as you want, I'll make you some food." Corin's hearty laughter and comment, "Thane, you look just like your dad," made Elora's face turn red. Even after the boys retreated to the room, Elora felt a bit dazed. Although she was financially stable, her marriage had been filled with wounds from a husband who had passed on his genes to their son. Elora, who had once modeled from her high school days, regretted not having a child that resembled her. Elora knocked on the kids' room and asked, "How about we make clam chowder and roast beef for dinner? Want to come to the store with me?" The kids agreed enthusiastically and followed her out. Seated in Elora's imported car, Corin remarked, "Thane, your mom's car is really cool." To which Elora sneakily glanced at Corin through the rearview mirror. While grocery shopping and later chatting over coffee at a cafe, Corin shared that he was living alone now. His father had passed away in middle school, and his mother had died earlier this year. He mentioned living close to school, and when asked about his apartment's condition regarding water supply and temperature control, he brightly smiled and said, "Yes, it's nice because it faces south." Although Corin smiled, Elora started to worry about him. Back at home, the three prepared roast beef, clam chowder, and a salad, enjoying wine which lifted the spirits. Elora shared that she met her husband in her freshman year of college and got pregnant, which prevented her from returning to school. Her son mentioned, "Mom, Corin is the most handsome guy in our department and is extremely popular. Do you know how nice the girls are to him? He got the most flowers on Adults Day, haha." "Corin, do you have a girlfriend?" asked Elora, to which he replied, "Not yet. It's only been 3 months since my mom passed away, and I still miss her a lot. I can't really focus on anything." Elora thought she needed to take more care of Corin. It must be really hard. "I've heard losing parents is something you never get over. Hang in there, Corin," she said, looking at him. Corin forced a smile and continued eating. Thane asked if it would be okay to have Corin over more often, and Elora laughed, saying, "Of course, why even ask?" Though Corin was offered to stay the night, he mentioned he had things to do at home and left. Thane shared more about Corin with Elora, who was already curious about him. She learned that Corin was renting a studio near school and working part-time jobs during his free hours to pay the rent. After his father's death, there had been debts, which were paid off by selling the house after his mother passed away, leaving him with about $10,000. This money went to his studio's security deposit and rent. He had considered taking a risky job that paid well a month ago, but was advised against it. Hearing this made Elora worry even more. Elora's house had 2 floors and 5 rooms. She wanted to offer one of the guest rooms to Corin and asked her son if that would be okay. Her son said, "Do whatever you think is best, Mom. I'll talk to him." Despite looking almost like a celebrity, Corin is really genuine. Throughout their marriage, Elora never had a night free from arguments about her husband's infidelities. She was constantly worried that Thane would find out, though he eventually did. Back in middle school, Thane had asked, "Why do you stay with a man like Dad? It's clearly hard on you," to which she replied, "If you ask me to divorce him once you're grown, I'll do it immediately." She didn't want to burden her son with the scars of divorce while he was focused on his studies, clinging to a slim hope that preserving their family might somehow make a difference. Unfortunately, her husband failed to meet those expectations, often coming home late under the guise of business, reeking of another woman's perfume. When Thane was accepted into a prestigious university, his father boasted, "Lucky you took after my brains. Congratulations," offering a significant sum of money. Thane then urged his mother, "Mom, it's time to leave Dad. I'm scared of ending up like him, but I'm grateful for the opportunities his support provided for my education." Subsequently, her husband handed over a considerable portion of his wealth to Elora in the divorce. Looking back, Elora regrets not acting sooner. Despite the outward glamour of their home, Corin decided to move into Elora's home, agreeing to contribute by paying rent through part-time work. Corin had been captivated by Elora's beauty since the first visit and found himself developing feelings beyond those of a friend's mother. The thought of leaning on Elora for support became appealing, especially after sharing the loss of his own parents. He longed to stay with Elora if possible. However, when Thane suggested Corin move in, he initially hesitated, fearing it might inconvenience Elora, but eventually agreed after persistent persuasion. Despite having lost touch with his own relatives and living a busy life, Corin found comfort in the warm meals and the sense of family Elora provided. Living with Elora became a new norm for Corin, who had a background in piano and had accompanied a choir in high school. One day, while playing the grand piano at Thane's home, Elora expressed a desire to learn, prompting Corin to start teaching her. "Corin, I should pay you for lessons at the going rate," Elora said, to which Corin replied with a laugh, "Then, I'll have to check what that is." On the day, Thane went on a trip with middle school friends. Elora suggested they go on a trip too. Corin asked for some time in the evening to talk. Elora was anxious all day, wondering what Corin wanted to discuss. That evening, Corin arrived with a cake, Elora's favorite steak, and a ricotta cheese salad, saying, "It's your birthday. Why didn't you tell me?" It seems my son had forgotten his birthday and was planning to let it quietly pass. But it looks like he saw the note I left on the calendar. We ended up making dinner together. "Make a wish before the candles go out," he said with a laugh, and Elora replied, "My wish is to live happily with my boys." Corin said, "Thank you for always being so kind to me. I want to be your man today." Elora was happy they were on the same wavelength but couldn't show it. They spent a great day in Elora's bedroom. Corin was skinny but very healthy. In fact, he said it was his first time. Elora matched his pace while stroking his hair. "I can't remember the last time I had a moment like this. It's been so long I've forgotten. My husband openly cheated on me after Thane was born," she said. Corin replied, "I'll soothe your loneliness. Look forward to it." And Elora shared a room with Corin until her son returned from his trip. When Thane was away, they lived almost like a couple. "It feels like a dream to have such a relationship with my son's friend. I know I can't be with Corin forever. But for now, I just want to focus on the present."